I'm Emma. I finally lost my stubborn belly fat, and it changed everything.
With discipline and a simple plan, better meals and timing did the rest. Watch. Subscribe to Health and Wellness for All, Brissy. Join me. Let's go to the video now.
If you've been trying to lose belly fat and feel like you're stuck on a loop of losing a little and gaining it back, you're not alone. The truth is simple, but rarely dramatic. Most people chasing a smaller waistline are battling the same metabolic habit, a pattern of constant feeding and frequent liquid calories that keeps insulin elevated and prevents the body from burning stored belly fat. In this video, we'll explain exactly how that habit works, why belly fat is so stubborn, what the best evidence says about fixing it, and 3 practical, clinician-friendly steps you can start today. First, let's name the habit in plain terms. It's the behavior of grazing, small snacks, and frequent mini meals across the day, often combined with sugar-sweetened drinks, sweetened coffee, or fruit juices. Technically, this pattern produces repeated spikes in blood glucose and insulin. Insulin is the hormone that signals your body to store energy rather than release it. If insulin stays elevated much of the day, lipolysis, the breakdown of stored fat for fuel, is suppressed. That's the exact metabolic environment that keeps visceral belly fat stubbornly in place. Studies comparing grazing with fewer, larger meals have shown that fewer eating episodes can improve markers of insulin sensitivity and metabolic control in some contexts. Why does insulin matter so much for belly fat? Insulin's primary role is to clear glucose from the bloodstream and store excess energy. When insulin is high, 2 things happen that matter for fat loss. First, fat breakdown in adipose tissue slows. Second, the liver and fat cells receive signals to make and deposit triglycerides. Over time, chronic high insulin patterns contribute to visceral fat accumulation and, in susceptible people, to insulin resistance, a state where higher and higher insulin is needed to achieve the same metabolic control. Visceral fat is metabolically active and releases inflammatory mediators and free fatty acids into the portal circulation, which directly impacts liver metabolism and whole-body insulin sensitivity. That's one major reason why reducing constant insulin exposure is central to shifting the body from store mode to burn mode. There's another crucial player many people don't realize: liquid calories, especially sugar-sweetened beverages and fruit juices. Unlike whole foods, drinks deliver a concentrated sugar load with little or no fiber. A large body of epidemiological and mechanistic research links sugar-sweetened beverages and added fructose with increased liver fat, de novo lipogenesis, the liver making fat from sugar, and a higher risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD. Fructose in particular is preferentially metabolized in the liver and is a potent stimulator of lipogenesis. Human and animal studies show that high fructose intake increases hepatic fat production more than equivalent amounts of glucose. Population-level meta-analyses consistently associate higher SSB intake with greater NAFLD risk. In practical terms, a daily soda or sweetened coffee is not a harmless calorie. It's a repeated metabolic signal that pushes the liver and belly fat towards storage. So, what does the best evidence say about breaking the habit and letting your body tap stored belly fat? There are several overlapping, evidence-backed strategies that change feeding patterns and reduce insulin exposure. 2 of the most studied approaches are 1. Restricting the number of eating episodes during the day, often called time-restricted eating, or TRE, or early TRE, and 2. Eliminating or sharply reducing liquid calories and refined carbohydrates. Randomized trials of TRE show modest but meaningful improvements in weight, body fat, and metabolic markers in many participants, especially when eating windows are shortened to 8 to 10 hours and aligned earlier in the day. Some RCTs and randomized clinical trials also demonstrate improvements in fasting glucose, blood pressure, and mood with earlier eating windows. That said, the magnitude of benefit varies by study design, caloric intake, and adherence. But the consistent signal is that concentrating eating into a shorter daily window reduces grazing and overall insulin exposure, making fat loss easier over time. Let's be clear about what TRE is not. It is not a license to overeat during the window or to rely on highly processed foods inside the window. Some high-quality trials compare TRE with matched calorie regimens and find that the timing advantage is greatest when it helps people naturally reduce snacking and overall caloric intake, and when the food quality is decent. In other words, TRE is a pattern that helps many people stop grazing. It's a tool, not a magic bullet. New England Journal of Medicine. Now, 3 practical, evidence-forward steps you can implement this week to break the habit and start nudging belly fat to release. Create a consistent eating window. Start with a 10 to 12-hour window, for example, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and aim to have all calories inside that window. After a week or 2, if it feels sustainable, tighten to 8 to 10 hours. Early windows ending earlier in the evening can help align with circadian rhythms and show better metabolic benefits in some trials. Time-restricted eating reduces how often you eat and naturally cuts grazing, which lowers overall insulin exposure and allows for longer fasting periods during which lipolysis can occur. Eliminate liquid calories and reduce refined carbs. Replace sodas, sweetened coffees, energy drinks, and fruit juices with water, sparkling water with lemon, or plain tea or black coffee. If you need flavor, steep herbal tea or add a slice of citrus. Solid whole fruits are fine because fiber slows absorption. Juices are not equivalent. Cutting liquid sugar is one of the highest impact swaps because those calories produce rapid metabolic responses and contribute directly to liver DNL. Multiple meta-analyses link SSBs to higher liver fat and NAFLD risk. Removing them lowers one of the largest daily drivers of insulin spikes. Prioritize protein and fiber at meals. Avoid frequent low-protein snacks. A plate with a lean protein source, non-starchy vegetables, healthy fat, and a modest whole grain or legume portion reduces post-meal glucose spikes and keeps you fuller for longer. Protein and fiber blunt glycemic excursions and reduce the urge to graze. When hunger strikes between meals, choose a protein-rich small snack, like Greek yogurt, a hard-boiled egg, a small handful of nuts, rather than sugary or carb-heavy nibbles. Over time, these choices reduce total daily insulin exposure and support fat mobilization. You'll often hear people ask, what about snacking? Which matters more, diet timing or exercise? The short answer, both matter, but they act differently. Strength training builds and preserves lean mass, which supports resting metabolic rate and helps long-term weight loss. Aerobic movement increases energy expenditure and improves insulin sensitivity, but neither exercise alone reliably undoes the metabolic effect of constant feeding. The pattern that keeps insulin low between meals is what allows the body to use stored fat. Exercise and resistance training amplify the benefits and preserve muscle as you lose weight. Combine them. Do resistance sessions 2 to 3 times per week and aim for daily walking or other moderate activity. That combination supports sustained visceral fat reduction. A realistic timeline. Don't expect overnight miracles. Visceral fat and liver fat can begin to respond within weeks to months of sustained change. Many people notice less bloating, smaller waist circumference, and improved energy within a few weeks when they stop grazing and cut liquid sugar. Meaningful metabolic improvements, reductions in liver fat, and changes in body composition often take months of consistent practice and modest calorie deficits. Celebrate early changes like less bloat, better sleep, steadier energy. They predict long-term success. A few important cautions and clinical notes. If you have diabetes and are on glucose-lowering medications, especially insulin or sulfonylureas, changing meal timing or fasting windows can affect blood sugar and medication needs. Consult your clinician before starting TRE. People with a history of eating disorders, pregnant or breastfeeding women, or those with significant medical complexity should not start aggressive fasting patterns without medical supervision. Not every supplement marketed as fat burning is safe or effective. Some concentrated botanical extracts can be hepatotoxic. Prioritize food pattern changes and discuss supplements with your provider. What about the science of snacking specifically? There's not a single definitive RCT that proves one grazing pattern will always beat another. Human metabolism is complex, but mechanistic data and clinical trials of meal frequency show that fewer, better composed meals often improve insulin sensitivity and metabolic markers in many populations. Meanwhile, controlled experiments and reviews show that fructose-rich liquids drive hepatic lipogenesis, an effect you won't get from the same fruit eaten whole because fiber changes absorption and metabolic fate. That biochemical pathway, sugar to liver fat, is a major reason why daily sugary drinks are a common culprit in persistent midline fat. You might ask, are there natural compounds or supplements that help? Some have been studied. Omega-3s, certain probiotic formulations, and botanical compounds like silymarin, known as milk thistle or curcumin, show modest signals in clinical studies for improving liver markers or metabolic parameters. But supplements are adjuncts. They're not replacements for changing the eating pattern that drives insulin chronically. Also, be cautious. Concentrated extracts, especially high-dose green tea extracts, have been implicated in rare cases of liver injury. If you consider supplements, use evidence-backed formulations and discuss them with your clinician. A short, practical example day after applying the steps. Wake, hydrate. If you eat breakfast, choose protein plus veggies, have a solid lunch with protein and fiber, skip liquid calories, no juice, no sweetened coffee. If you feel hungry late afternoon, pick a protein snack or stretch your window. Finish eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. Repeat consistently. Over weeks, you'll likely see the combination of reduced waist circumference, better glucose measures, and improved energy. Finally, the honest bottom line. The habit that keeps most people stuck is constant feeding and frequent liquid calories that maintain elevated insulin. Fix the pattern, and you change the hormonal environment that protect belly fat from being burned. Use time-restricted eating to reduce grazing, eliminate sugary drinks, prioritize protein and fiber, and add strength and movement. These evidence-backed changes don't just help aesthetics, they improve metabolic health, lower liver fat, and reduce long-term cardiometabolic risk. Key studies and meta-analyses supporting these points are linked below in the description for viewers who want to read more. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe to Health and Wellness for All. Tell me in the comments which habit you'll stop this week. No soda, no snacking, or time window, and I'll pin the best responses and make a follow-up plan. And remember, if you have medical conditions or take medications, consult your healthcare provider before making big changes to meal timing or caloric intake.
Did you enjoy the video? Subscribe to our channel, Health and Wellness for All, for more tips and information. See you soon.